Imagine you're a middle-aged Mexican woman that has lived in the US for 3 decades. You're standing in line at the post office. For the ordinary person, it would seem average. Some say even boring, but to you, your body's on edge and even on the peak of a nervous breakdown. The reason for this sudden anxiety is that you're afraid that the person at the counter will only speak English, which you yourself are not able to do and can barely understand. For Dolores Rangel, an immigrant that left Mexico in 1983, this was an all too familiar feeling that she had to live on for a day to day basis. Longing to communicate better with people and sick of this horrible reality, she began taking English classes at Unlimited Potential, a nonprofit group located in South Phoenix. Rangel is just one of many thousands of people in Arizona that speak limited English. Just imagine what a relief she would have had if English was required when becoming a citizen. She even goes on saying that she feels like she's learned a lot in just 1 year, and even confides in the Huffington Post by saying, "I feel more confident now. For this reason, my thesis is the requirement of the English language for immigrants who wish to live and or become a citizen of the United States." The progression of English requirement has always been an issue in our society. The problem came to light around the late 1970s and into the early 1980s. The issue had then escalated severely these past few years since previous ones. For instance, a 2009 report by the Lexington Institute found that 59% of the U.S. elementary children who were limited English proficient or LEP were born to immigrant parents. Also in New Jersey, two-thirds of the state's English learners relied on foreign language services to meet high school standards. Also, another report released by the Migration Policy Institute showed that there was an estimated 582,900 people, nearly 10% of Arizona's population, fell into the limited English ability in 2011. That number had increased from 276,000 since 1990. The effects of not permitting the requirement of English for immigrants would be severe. Right now, immigrants are only required to pass one-third of the time on the test of English as a foreign language test, meaning immigrants have a limited understanding of the American language. Also, official pardon without English raises language isolation and injuries the upward suppleness of non-English speaking immigrants. In 2011, the census status stated that non-English speaking in the home had tripled since 1981. Another way is that failing to learn the language would hurt the ability to be involved into the American life and would cripple their chance at the American dream. Life without English can lead to a life of low skilled and low paying jobs. A study of Chinese and Mexican immigrants ages 25 and older who came to the United States for reasons other than school discovered that immigrants working in similar ethnic backgrounds tend to speak their native tongues rather than learning to speak English. This was said by Purdue agriculture economists Bridget Waldorf and Raymond Florex, with three research collaborators. Waldorf and Florex continue on saying that failing to know English hurts an immigrant's ability to integrate into American society and could limit their occupational opportunities. Another Purdue study, Living and Working in Ethnic Enslaved English Language Proficiency of Immigrants in U.S. Metropolitan Areas, showed how the residential and occupational segregation was affected and the effects of living with family members who did speak English were on immigrants. The study used the census data for resources and indicated that while 32% growth between 2010 and 2000 and 2010 came from immigrants, the proportions of English-speaking immigrants had declined from 85% in 1990 to 71% in 2010. The study also found that immigrants who have higher levels of education and job skills were more likely to speak English. Waldorf indicates later on that learning English does not mean you forget your culture or your own language. You can keep your own culture and still be American. It's not one or the other. As you can see, not having English as a requirement for immigrants is a real issue in today's society that should be resolved resoundingly. To sum up everything, I feel that Ernest Istook explains it perfectly from an immigrant's point of view. He states, "My father was the son of immigrants, and he grew up bilingual, but English is not what my father taught me and what he spoke to me. American strength is not our diversity, it is our ability to unite around common principles, even when we come from different backgrounds." Meaning, solving this mere step to accomplish strong, deep roots together as a whole nation is just what the United States needs.